master service agreement between Postbank and the South African Social Security Agency, SASSA, expires at the end of this month. SASSA says the cash withdrawal resources that were allocated to Postbank can now be replaced by the digital process. So will this, or pardon me, this will include the introduction of biometric verification for new grant applications. Let's get you the full story and bring in the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, Bridget Masango. Thanks for joining us and thank you for your patience in waiting for this interview, Bridget. The main issue, of course, will be for SASSA grant recipients that there isn't an interruption to the payment of grants given the termination of this service agreement.
Yes, most definitely, Michelle. Thank you for having me. The main issue here that the committee was very concerned about on realizing that the master service agreement would be terminated at the end of September was the impact that would have on the beneficiaries. There are no less than, let's say, 3 million beneficiaries out of the 12 million that receive their grants through the Postbank. So that's why we called for a meeting during the constituency period of the members of parliament, just to get an assurance that there will be no adverse impact on the beneficiaries. And that assurance was given to us on Wednesday last week by the Minister of Social Development, who was in the meeting with the SASSA senior management to just say to us, the termination, as the minister called it, is an administrative thing. It has nothing, it will not affect the beneficiaries because Postbank is one of the banks. I think there are 21 banks through which the beneficiaries receive their grants. So that will continue with or without a master service agreement.
Right, but you know, Bridget, I suppose for the 3 million grant recipients that bank with Postbank, I wonder whether there's been enough communication on this issue, because Postbank, or rather SASSA says Postbank is still a licensed financial institution. Beneficiaries will still receive their grants in their account. Are these various issues being made clear to these 3 million people who rely on Postbank for their social grants?
Yes, that is what we've been calling for, Michelle, that the telling us in Parliament helps, but the people that need to know most are the people that are actually beneficiaries. We were also made aware and assured that the communication lines between SASSA and the beneficiaries will be opened in terms of ensuring that there are the community radio stations. We were given a whole matrix of what the radio stations that are used by the GCIS will be used for this communication. We were also made aware that the SASSA also goes on what they call outreach programs, where they go to the most rural areas of this country, that they will make sure that the SASSA beneficiaries are aware of the changes that are taking place, in fact, of no changes taking place as a result of the termination of the master service agreement. I am aware also, as the members of the Portfolio Committee, we are aware that the communication between SASSA and the beneficiaries is not where it should be. So much more can be done to beef up the communication channels, but that is the undertaking that we were given by SASSA and the department when we met on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I understand that came up in Parliament as well, where MPs talked about, you know, sending out a warning about possible scammers that might use the situation to whatever advantage. But I see that SASSA has said a communication strategy has been focused on major African language broadcasters, so Ukhozi FM, Umhlobo Wenene, and the like.
Yes. Yes, yes, because also there is a lot of noise in what I could call the online channels, like the social media everyone is just wanting to communicate messages that are not necessarily the genuine messages that come out of this environment of SASSA, the department, Postbank, and so on and so forth. And the panic is so concerning among the beneficiaries, because we receive, as members of this portfolio committee, messages that are saying, is this true? And then it would be just someone saying that, no, you will now be getting twice the money that you are getting, and so on and so forth. And that is one of the issues that SASSA promised us, undertook to say they will be making sure that they get rid of those fake websites and fake social media outlets, which are starting every day. And people who have been in the SASSA environment and have had so many glitches happen in the grant payment system just panic when they see these messages. So we called for a communication system or a communication environment that is going to make people know that this is the genuine message that comes from SASSA, and be able to actually detect when the fake news reach them, because it is just a very, very confusing thing out there, where people will just start a communication that says the president of South Africa has, pronounced or announced that the older person will be receiving twice their grants, things that are really not good for the well-being of these grant recipients. But we were assured that the radio stations, especially the African language radio stations that have high listenerships, will be used for this purpose.
Yeah, it just feels like another saga for grant recipients, doesn't it, Bridget? First, there was the movement from the SASSA, from one SASSA card to one Postbank card. I don't remember what the story was.
Yes.
But now there's the issue of the master service agreement. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of stability in what is already a difficult process to manage, just given the number of grants that are dispersed.
Yes, you are right, Michelle. The recipients have experienced a number of, upheavals or a number of challenges with the payment of grants, which is why on Wednesday last week, we had invited the South African Reserve Bank as well, because it is apparently, according to the variation notices that they had given Postbank, that there was a switching of cards from the golden card to the black one, and then midstream that had to stop as well. And the beneficiaries were made aware that they can use either cards. If you have already switched your card from gold to black, go ahead, use it. If you haven't yet, you're still holding a gold card, it will work. So we wanted to also, and we are meeting with them tomorrow, we wanted to also just, iron out those, loose points to say, what is the status now? What should the members of the public or the beneficiaries know about the situation of the switching of cards that was postponed indefinitely? Because at this stage, we do not know when is the next time that the switching of cards will happen, if it will happen. But we are saying the only thing that for us gave us comfort as members of the portfolio committee was that the impact will not be there for the beneficiaries of the grants, social grants at the moment, when come the 30th of September, when the master service agreement is terminated.
Yeah,
so that is what we took away with us, to say the members of the public, the beneficiaries, must please know that they will get their grants as they have been getting them. And then, of course, there will be communication that will accompany this, if I can call it transition, that so that they know that the termination of the MSA is as the minister called it, an administrative thing that's happening, but it will not affect in any way their receiving their grants as they have been receiving them in the past.
All right, let's hope so. Bridget Masango is the Social Development Portfolio Committee Chairperson.